So a while back, I did a video about this Neogeo Goldie cabinet and like what I was going to do to it and like how I wanted to restore it. And it's not fully done, but it's like 95% done. There's like just a few small odds and ends that I still have to finish. Pretty much like the marquee light, but other than that, I'm going to show you a lot of the befores and what it's like now and like the whole process of fully 100% restoring this cabinet in every way. And I'm very excited, I'm very happy with the way that it came out. So let's go take a look at a lot of the things that I did to it. Boom, no segue, no transition, just jump right in. And jumping right into me stripping the sides of the cabinet. Now the cabinet right now is completely 100% gutted, everything's taken off, taken out, and I'm peeling off the old paint and the old paneling. Pretty much like the paneling ripped in some areas, so whoever did this painted over the old paneling, and here's me using a hairdryer to rip off the paint and the paneling. I'm doing it to the entirety of the cabinet, and then I'm going to sand and Bondo it, and then put new wood veneer paneling, whatever, vinyl, I don't know, on it. So here's one side fully stripped, and you can still see there's some black paint because that was actually onto the wood. I could only peel off the black paint. Here's the T-molding that I ripped off. The paint was actually on the wood, so it didn't come off, but when they painted over the paneling, that was able to peel off. Here, removing the entire coin drop, everything, and then also just continuing to strip it down. This was like my first goal, and my first thing to do was just strip the entire thing down. So far in this cabinet, if you watch the other video, you've heard what I've said that I already did, which was the first thing I did was I repaired the main board. It's an MV1, which was the first issued MBS board. It's the largest one. They shrunk down in size later on because there's multiple revisions of the MBS, but this one was the first one, so it's the largest one. So, and it's also a 1-slot. Now the Goldie is a 2-slot machine, or this particular Goldie is a 2-slot machine. So there's I think it's an ELA, I believe what it's called. It's pretty much the marquee mechanism that would normally plug in. So you can select between the two games, but because there's a 1-slot, I don't really need it because there's only going to be one game on it at a time. Anyway, here we go. We're bondoing some of the holes because there was holes all over this thing. These were some of the major ones. Now, I don't really know how to Bondo. I never Bondoed before. Actually, I Bondoed a car once upon a time, like 10 years ago, but whatever. So I Bondoed it all up, and I just sanded it really, really good to get it really smooth. I sanded this like crazy for such a long, extended period of time. Sanded the whole thing, because when I put the new paneling on, it needed to be smooth so you wouldn't see all of the imperfections in it. And I used, for the very small holes, I used wood putty and wood filler to fill those little holes so it would be as smooth as possible. I really, for never doing this before, I still tried to put my all into it and put the most that I could do into it because I wanted it to turn out really, really well, which I show it later on in the video how it ended up turning out, so I guess you could be the judge. I'm very happy and very proud with the way it ended up coming out. My first full cabinet restore. There was a lot to it. Had to repair the board, had to put the new flyback on the monitor, recap the monitor. I had to make a bezel. I don't think I included that in the video, but you can see, and I'll point it out when you see it, is I had to make a new bezel. I made it out of like styrofoam poster board that was black. I had to cut a new piece of acrylic. I had to get the control panel overlay, all new buttons. Not all new buttons, but all new switches for each button, new joysticks. And yeah, it was a lot, but it was awesome. I've had this thing for like 2 years and just very slowly working on it. Okay, so here we go. I'm bringing it back inside because it's been bondoed, it's been sanded, it's good to go. And now, right here, I'm actually applying this new. So this I got at Home Depot. It's essentially just wood finished vinyl sticker. That's all it really, really is. So the fear of this stuff is it not sticking to the side. That's why I sanded it so well to get it as smooth as possible so it would stick. Here you can actually see some air bubbles, but that's why I'm using a ruler to kind of wipe them all away, which I don't know if anybody is old enough to remember wallpaper, but do you remember when people used to put wallpaper in their walls at home instead of just painting it white? So back when that was a thing, I would see people with wallpaper using like a scraper to wipe away all the bubbles, and that's where I learned that trick from, I guess, even though there's still some more bubbles because I didn't finish. But so two panels wide, and then here I am cutting off all the excess. You know, feels good. Feels really, really good. I'm really, really happy with the way it came out. Doing it to the front too. Pretty much do it to the entire thing. Here you see I've already added the control panel overlay. Got that from a place called Sabo. He's like a guy that makes arcade parts, and nobody else is doing the control panel overlay for the Goldie. He was the only one. It was extremely expensive because there's other people who make other parts for arcades like that where they're not that expensive, but since he was the only one doing the Goldie, had to do it. Very high quality. It was very nice. So I'm not upset about it in any way. He also does the marquees, so the part that said like Neogeo right there. That's the old one that was with it and actually has some black paint on it, so I may get a new one later down the road. So now that the whole cabinet is all done, here's me. This was the flyback is gone, as you see in the bottom left hand corner, and then I think I'm starting on removing the capacitors. Oh, here I am. These are all the new capacitors in, just soldering them all up. I don't want you to see me the whole process of doing this because this is kind of like an overview of the whole thing. But here's me doing new flyback, new capacitors, which really, really help the monitor out. It's very crispy. Here you see Polestar. And this is camera pointing on the screen. It's a well-lit room, so you can't even see, but it looks so sharp. It looks so good. And here's actually the entire thing. This is the finished product, the finished result. And there's the bezel that I made that like hides the monitor, so you don't see around the monitor, and the monitor's just there. There's no locks on those doors. I'm gonna have to get those. The little bulbs for the 25-cent things was worn out, and there's no marquee light. But other than those minor little things, everything else turned out really great. I think the gold T-molding was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful touch. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I think original was black. So here's the back. There's no back panel. But here I got the multi-cart in there, and this was the MVS 1, the big MVS board. So I think I would have to just clean up in the back a little bit more. Maybe I could probably replace the audio capacitors. But yeah, this multi-cart, some of the games don't work, but whatever. Like you get a lot of great games on it for like $70. Like who cares? And this is the ELA, which is useless in mine because it's only a 1 slot. And here's an IGS PGM. I think I said in the last video, if you want to see a video about this, leave it in the comments, let me know. So that's it. That was the Neo Geo Goldie restoration. I hope you liked the way it looked, and thank you guys very, very much for watching, and let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.